So this is our 2012 V8 Aston Martin Vantage, and it's a great car. Love this car, but we did buy this thing kind of knowing that it has its own little quirks and weird features, right? Just like the Fisker in there, the same guy made both of them, so we kind of figured that we'd have some problems. So right off the bat, we drove this car for what, probably 2 months, no problems really at all, and then suddenly a little bit more daily driving, turned the car off one day and it just starts going, and it did that literally until it died. I mean, I bought a brand new battery, threw it in there, thought I would fix the problem, fixed it for about a couple of weeks, and then it killed that brand new battery. Now we have a whole new problem, and what we believe is the fuel pump. Now the fuel pump is probably what's causing this, what we think to cause like an electrical shortage, and it's making the brain of the car think that it's still on even though the key's not in the car. So we're gonna walk over here. The fuel pump is located back behind this tire here up in this region, and basically we're having it towed out today to our guy that works on mostly, you know, I guess all of our cars, and is really good with working on the exotics. So we're towing it out, and we're just gonna hop in here and show you the process of how we're gonna get it out of here. It's a super long driveway and super compact, and once we turn it on, you're gonna see what this thing's doing. We'll just do a tester to show you guys, so let's do this. So the car is completely dead, like I said, so literally the only way to get this car to like not kill itself is you have to come back here, take off all these braces and all this other stuff, and the battery in the Vantage is directly behind the passenger seat. So the only way we can get this car moving is if we take this little terminal here, you see it? Pop it on there, it's probably gonna zaps, put it on. Now, this is the only point in which this car can drive right now. So now we can go back over to the driver's side and try to turn it on. This car went through its little problem. This no longer goes up, which I know is a common problem with this car as well. The screen right here, the gear inside will commonly break because Aston Martin uses this cheap little gear inside here, and it won't go up anymore. And it did that once it died one day, and I was like, okay, well that's never going back up again. So we just keep that down. Fingers crossed that it is the fuel pump, because it's really not that expensive to fix the fuel pump in this car. Parts and all that. Fuel pump module is about $75, and I'd say the fuel pump itself is what, like 200? Yeah. So it's really not all that much to fix that. Now, it's the other things like we were kind of talking about that we're worried about. Anything electrical could probably run us a whole lot more, and labor, of course. But let's just turn this thing on. Here it goes, see? Doesn't want to turn on. Try it again. Hold on, let's give it a little shimmy. This is just part of having cars like this sometimes, and 2012 iconically is not a very good year for these exotics. 2012 Aventador, 2012 Vantage, and there's a lot of other like older like exotic cars out. Huh? Fisker Karma, just not a good year for some of these cars, man.
Oh,
He wanted to there. You hear it ticking?
yeah, that's strange.
We actually have to get this up here because we have to drive this car to the end of the road for the tow truck to actually pick this thing up. I actually don't know if he's gonna fucking go. That ticking thing is...
What's concerning you?
You hear this?
That's the clock.
Well, no, the clock wasn't going.
The ticking time bomb. Just keep going at it. There it goes. Oh!
Alright guys, I think that was like 4 different attempts and finally we're here. And one thing I kind of noticed too before all the other problems is if the car didn't have a sufficient amount of gas in it, it would cause more problems because the car has to pull that fuel much harder. But I started keeping above half at all times in this car, and
That's what it did last night that I was saying was weird.
Yeah, okay, so that too, a bunch of different crazy problems going on. But what I was saying, I still had enough gas in the car for it to know that it had fuel to get into the fuel pump, and it started doing it on its own anyways. So I guess that's more of reassurance that yes, it's probably the fuel pump going out, But this car is doing a bunch of different crazy things that you're just like, okay, this doesn't make sense. So we're gonna find out shortly.
So where we live at, super narrow driveway, so he's got to go all the way up. And we have to have the tow truck back in and pull this thing out because there's just not enough space back here. So guys, the main dilemma here is the car will actually go and drive like this, and when you start to pick up the speeds and the RPMs pick up, the fuel pump will disengage the car, what we're assuming, and the car will automatically go to neutral, and you're just stuck consistently going into drive and neutral every 5 to 10 feet. But surprisingly, it's moving.
It's like telling me I don't have any gas after it just told me it had gas.
Is it moving? We stuck?
I think it's stalled.
Yeah, the car's off, isn't it? And there's
there's the infamous tick. That was the first that's ever happened too, guys. So yeah.
At least we're here.
There's all right, so we're not driving the car. We were gonna drive the car, we were gonna show you what it does, but clearly we're not doing that now. So all right.
So it looks like now we're just on a pure stall phase.
Now we have to literally go back here.
Hold on, let me show him the ticking.
Ticking's happening right where like the fuel pump is too. So that's probably like our main indicator. But it ticks up here as well. I don't know if you guys can hear the ticking over the fan. Well now, but the fan, oh. The fan's still running and the car's completely off. So, and it'll do that till it dies. So now what we have to do is disconnect the battery. The thing is with this car, almost everything that this car is affiliated with is electrical, you know, so like in order to move the seat forward, the battery has to be charged in order for us to do anything to access that, in order to get the seat to go forward. If you want to pop the trunk, you have to have the battery on because it's an electrical button to get it to open. So yeah, there's just a whole bunch of crazy stuff that goes into this thing, and hopefully when it's back, it's bulletproof again, like the car should be.
So guys, this is an indicator that if you're a bunch of young dudes like us and you think you can afford the price tag, it doesn't mean you can afford the maintenance.
That's true. That is the truth.
Guys, we'd be in a much better position in life if we didn't have these cars.
Just the fact, dude. They're beautiful beasts though, they're great. Hopefully you guys enjoy them and seeing them on YouTube, but yeah, this is the unfortunate truth with these cars too. And doesn't matter what you get from this to that, beautiful Audi R8 with amazing ingenuity still runs into its own problems, and expensive ones at that.
There's not a car we have that doesn't have problems.
Yeah, I know.
Except for the
That
Jag.
is the most reliable one.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you when the tow truck gets here.
5 hours later.
It's right here. Just in case. Yeah. Alright guys, got it up. Say bye-bye, Aston. It is. Sounds like a hybrid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Watch it fly right off the truck.
Oh, looks like the car went down. But yeah, guys, there it goes. Hopefully it'll be done probably, what do you think, next 2 weeks?
No, within the week.
Within the week?
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty quick turnaround, so. In a week.
We got a nice, fast mechanic that wants to get paid.
Yeah, that's right. So the Aston Martin's back, and we're gonna go over a few things and how much it really costs to fix the problem that we had. So initially, we started off thinking the car had a fuel pump problem because it was ticking. It would tick up here in the engine bay, and it would tick behind the wheel well there. Happens to be where the fuel pump is. So everybody said it must be the fuel pump. It has to be the fuel pump. They guaranteed us that's what it is. Everybody on the forums. Anyways, we brought it to our guy, good old Chip, and he fixed it up for us. Come to find out, guys, when we bought the car, the main problem is the fuse box. So the fuse box inside of the car didn't have the cover. So it sat out in the rain, water gets in there. Well, I drove it around for a while thinking, you know, that obviously wasn't the case, and just to see what happens. Anyways, left it out in the rain. We started to see that the problem occurred only when it rained. So we brought it in. Chip said, did you leave it out in the rain? Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, come to find out, the whole fuse box was corroded out. That's our problem. Then we had another problem, an O2 oxygen sensor. Well, that didn't really affect the whole driving experience of the car, make it run better, clear a little bit of the codes. But we decided we replaced that anyways. So for both parts, really, the fuse box was what, $250, $300, and then the O2 sensor was probably another $200, $300. So all together, I think what did we total up with? $1,600 to fix the whole Aston Martin now. So it's back up on the road, guys. This thing is an absolute beast. Yes, it did have problems in the beginning, but I think these were things that when we bought the car that could have been prevented by the dealership and the other owner. So the thing is when we brought it in, Chip said, and it makes me wonder if maybe the car goes through these a lot, is that O2 sensor. So he said it had once been replaced before, and now this is probably its third time having that replaced. So I'm wondering what that's all about. And if you guys know anything more about that, you guys can drop down in the comments. We'd like to hear what you guys have to say as well. All right, the fuse box that we had to replace, there's one in the back and then there's one here. Well, obviously the one in the back is covered up. You're not really gonna have rain get in there all that well. But right here, if you can see, there's a vent. So if it rains, it drips right down, directly into the fuse box. And the fuse box is right here. This whole thing was corroded out. So I had to replace that whole thing, redo the wiring. And guys, what you don't understand is this problem right here, just not having a cover, probably cost not just $1,600, but we went through 2 batteries thinking that was the problem. This problem right here literally killed 2 batteries. The first one we bought, what did we have it for, a month?
Yeah.
And it literally drained it. We brought it in, they tested the battery was completely dead, fried. Had to buy a new one. So what did we have to do from there on out? We had to, every time we take the car out, we had to detach the battery because otherwise, whatever it was doing in here was telling the motor that the car was still on, and it would just drain the battery, tick it until it completely dies. So yeah, guys, this fixed the problem. A simple cover.
Yeah, guys, a simple lesson learned. Always have the fuse box cover on. And
well, everybody's gonna have the fuse box cover on, whether it was the dealership's problem or whatever the hell somebody else.
Let me tell you something. There's not a fuse box cover on the Fisker right now.
There's not?
Nope.
Why?
Ever since I got it fixed, I didn't have one.
What's with the bastards not putting the shit back on?
Guess it gets lost.
But yeah, guys, that could have handled and saved us $1,600 and a lot of headache.
So we had to get the O2 sensor ordered all the way from England. Took about a week and a half to get here. And surprisingly, guys, it's the same O2 sensor as a Ford.
And the fuse box, the whole fuse box we had to replace, we just bought. This fuse box right here was ripped from an old, I think 2012 Aston Martin. But still, same part, same everything, same car, so it can go in here and boom, old parts. Because I don't think, unfortunately, Aston Martin doesn't make fuse boxes like this. And I think if they do, they're probably ridiculously expensive. So best bet, go get one from a junkyard, guys. So that's the end of today's video. We kind of wanted to be transparent and show you what goes on with all of these cars, and it's not as easy and as fun as it looks and we make it out to be, because obviously that's what you do on YouTube. We want to show you the good things, but we're also here to show you the downsides of buying vehicles like this, because quite frankly, the vehicles we're buying, I guess, are known. Well, the R8, But the others are kind of known for having their problems. The Fisker, the Aston Martin, they're all just quirky, weird cars, and they come with very just weird and quirky ticks. So yeah, guys, we're here to show you it and be transparent about how much it costs and how we're going about fixing it. So yeah, this fix from Aston Martin, this fix that we did, we got it done for $1,600, could have very well been $8K from Aston Martin, easy. And this was what?
It took them about 2 days. But guys, you also, from Aston Martin, you have to order special diagnostics. You can't just get a one-time code. You have to rent it out in sessions. So either a 24-hour session, a 48-hour session, or a whole month or year.
The session is what, $250, $300 for just to get the codes.
Yeah, so it's $100 a day, $250 for 2 days. And then it goes up to $1,200 a month, and it's like $4,000 a year. Yeah. So guys, you have to have an explicit membership just to access the codes.
Just to have an Aston Martin, guys.
God, that's some shit, ain't it?
I'll tell you what though, it does kind of make you feel like, man, I do got a cool and different car. But you know they're doing it for money reasons. But anyways, it's cool. I love this car. It's an absolute freak. You guys get the opportunity to get an Aston Martin Vantage S, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Or if you get the chance to meet us and we take you out for a ride, I'm sure you'll be impressed with this car and all the other ones. But anyways, until the next video, guys, this is the end of today's video. See you in the next one. Peace.